Have you ever had someone just completely vanish from your life without any explanation? One day you're texting back and forth, making plans and feeling connected, and the next day they've disappeared into thin air like they never existed. Welcome to the world of ghosting, and trust me, you're not alone in experiencing this modern dating nightmare. Ghosting has become so common that almost everyone has either done it or had it done to them. But what exactly is going on in someone's brain when they decide to just disappear? And why does it hurt so much when it happens to us? Today, we're going to dive deep into the psychology behind ghosting, explore the different types you might encounter, and help you understand this confusing behavior that's become a defining feature of modern relationships. Let's start with the basics. Ghosting is when someone suddenly stops all communication with you without any warning or explanation. No goodbye text, no awkward conversation about not being interested, just complete radio silence. It's like they've become an actual ghost, hence the name. This can happen after one date, several weeks of talking, or even months into what you thought was a solid relationship. The sudden silence can leave you feeling bewildered and questioning everything, wondering if you did something wrong or if they simply lost interest. The psychology behind ghosting is actually more complex than you might think. At its core, ghosting is an avoidance behavior. When someone ghosts you, they're trying to escape from an uncomfortable situation without having to deal with the emotional messiness that comes with honest communication. Think about it from their perspective for a moment. Having a breakup conversation or telling someone you're not interested requires vulnerability, potential conflict, and emotional labor that many people simply don't want to invest. Fear plays a huge role in ghosting behavior. Some people are terrified of confrontation and would rather disappear than face the possibility of hurting someone's feelings or dealing with an emotional response. Others fear being judged or having to justify their decision to end things. Our modern technology has made ghosting easier than ever before. In the past, if you wanted to avoid someone, you had to actually put in effort. You might have to change your phone number or avoid certain places. Now, you can simply block someone on all platforms and pretend they never existed. Social media and dating apps have created this illusion that people are disposable and easily replaceable, which makes ghosting feel less serious than it actually is. This convenience allows individuals to escape relationships without the emotional burden of face-to-face conversations. Another psychological factor is the instant gratification culture we live in. We're used to getting what we want immediately, and when something becomes inconvenient or requires effort, we often just move on to the next thing. Relationships require work and sometimes difficult conversations, but ghosting offers an immediate escape from that discomfort. Instead of facing the complexities of human emotions, some choose the path of least resistance, which often leads to ghosting. Now let's talk about the different types of ghosting you might encounter. First, there's classic ghosting, which is the complete disappearance we just described. This person stops responding to texts, calls, and any form of communication permanently. It's the most brutal form because there's absolutely no closure. Then we have partial ghosting, also known as soft ghosting. This is when someone dramatically reduces their communication but doesn't completely disappear. They might like your social media posts but never respond to your messages, or they'll send occasional one-word replies that kill any chance of real conversation. Breadcrumbing is another variation where someone sends just enough messages to keep you interested but never commits to making actual plans or having meaningful conversations. They're essentially feeding you crumbs of attention to keep you as a backup option while they explore other possibilities. Seasonal ghosting happens when someone disappears for weeks or months and then suddenly reappears like nothing happened. They might pop up during holidays, birthdays, or when they're feeling lonely. Lastly, There's slow fade ghosting, where someone gradually reduces contact over time until it eventually stops completely. Instead of an abrupt disappearance, they slowly decrease the frequency and quality of their communication until you realize you haven't heard from them in weeks. The impact of being ghosted can be surprisingly devastating. Your brain actually processes the pain of being ghosted similarly to physical pain. When someone ghosts you, it triggers your fear of abandonment and rejection, which can lead to anxiety, depression, and serious damage to your self-esteem. You're left with no closure, constantly wondering what you did wrong and replaying every interaction trying to find clues. The uncertainty is perhaps the worst part. At least with a clear rejection, you know where you stand and can begin to move forward. With ghosting, you're stuck in limbo, not knowing if they're busy, dealing with something serious, or simply not interested anymore. Understanding the psychology behind ghosting doesn't make it hurt less, but it can help you realize that ghosting says more about the other person than it does about you. People who ghost are often dealing with their own emotional immaturity, communication issues, or fear of intimacy. Their inability to have an honest conversation is their problem, not yours. If you've been ghosted, remember that you deserve clear communication and respect in your relationships. Don't chase someone who has chosen to disappear, and try not to take their behavior personally. Focus on building connections with people who value honest communication and emotional maturity. Ghosting might be common in our digital age, but that doesn't make it acceptable behavior. By understanding why it happens and recognizing the different types, you can better protect yourself emotionally and make more informed choices about the people you invest your time and energy in.